Welcome to today's show where I'm going to be talking about the Bugatti Chiron, the latest in the luxury line of Technic sets, building supercars out of Technic parts in luxury boxes with luxury packaging and charging you a lot for them. In today's review, I'm going to briefly go over the specs. I'm going to briefly go over the highlights of what I think this set is. I'm not going to go super in depth, but just the highlights because in-depth videos are available everywhere. And then I'm going to do some cool comparisons about what else is similar to this car. Has Lego ever made anything similar to this car? What are some other things you could look at if you're thinking about getting it? So that will be really fun. But first, let's quick go over the specs of what you get when you buy this set. So it costs in the US $350. And of course, I did go back and look at all those top 5 viewers of my show. Thanks for watching. And you can see the prices vary greatly. Wow. All I can say is I'm moving to Canada. Anyway, so 350 bucks. You get 3,600 pieces in this set. Of course, a lot of them are small Technic pieces, really concentrated back in the back half of this car. And the whole package weighs 11.5 pounds, which gives you a value of how much plastic you're getting of about $30 per pound, which is, you know, so-so. It's right in there. Not as pricey as I was expecting for a premium branded product, but lots of Technic ones are less than that. The box size is big. It's 1.15 cubic feet, so you can see how big the box is. And just for comparison, because I know everyone wants to see this comparison, and here is the Porsche box. You can see it's the same width, but this Porsche box is a little bit shorter. So it's going to be a big box. It's going to be heavy. It's going to be expensive to ship. And you have to be extra careful because box condition, people are going to be concerned about box condition. So it's going to be a hard set to ship. It has a dollar density of $305 per cubic foot, which is right in the middle. So even though it's a big, heavy car, all the packaging really inflates that box size, so it's not really a super dollar dense set for storing on your shelves if you want to maximize that sort of thing. Retirement 2020, maybe. The Porsche has not retired yet, so we don't really have a good bearing on how long these sets are going to be out. And lastly, I built the thing, obviously, here it is. How much did it weigh when I built it? 6.5 pounds, so it dropped 5 pounds in its packaging, most of that in these 2 crazy big manuals for the set. And the average piece size is 0.82 grams, which is a little bit bigger than I was expecting, considering there are so many little Technic connectors, but there are an awful lot of these big panels too. So that is the weight exactly halfway in between a 1x3 lift arm and a 1x5 lift arm. Or as I show you up there, a 1x6 thin lift arm is about how big the average piece is in this set. And I haven't done too many Technic sets, so I don't know how that compares to a lot of others, but I actually think it's probably bigger than many others because there's so many of these big panel pieces. All right, so briefly, let's go over what's cool about this car. Well, what do I think is cool about it? Well, it has 4-wheel drive, it has interesting suspension, it has an 8-speed transmission, 7 forward gears, 1 reverse gear, which you select. In here you have neutral, forward, reverse. I'm gonna select that guy in there. And then comes something that is sort of, I don't know, crazy, and that is most of your work, a lot of the fine technical innovation, a lot of the fine detail is right here underneath the engine block, which you cannot see. So you better do it right because you also cannot access it. Because if this stuff up here, the shifting, the paddle shifting up there, the ratcheting system doesn't work, then it's gonna be really, really hard to get to. Honestly, when building this whole car, I did make 2 mistakes. One, at the end of my steps, I had an extra gear. Oops, that's never going to be an extra piece, so I was able to, not too difficult, figure out where I messed up there. And I didn't get this wing to lift up properly, so I just had to go back and fix that. But besides that, there weren't too many other technical issues building this set. So besides the suspension, the 4-wheel drive, which will drive the pistons, the cylinders that you have in there, has an opening hood, of course, with a little piece of luggage that is common in these cars. I guess you always get your luggage because it has to exactly fit in the frunk in the engine compartment. And I took off my little custom coated sticker here, tile that
got me access to exclusive content. So what's that I hear? Yes, that is my new Bugatti Chiron engine ringtone that Lego gave me for inputting my custom code into their webpage. You also get to print off or download full-size images files of what's included in your instruction book when you build it. So if you want to print those, and the certificate of authenticity, which you can print out on your very own printer. All right, some other things that you can do. Of course, the door is open. Of course, this wing goes up and down, which you can use this crazy little key for if you want to, but I mean, it goes up and down. That's all you need to do. And about this engine, you can see, I have it in neutral. So when I have it go, you can see, you can't see, but I can see the piston things moving. As you switch through the paddle shifter down here, it causes those go to different speeds. It's really hard to quantify. But I did take a video as I was building it, which I'll show you right there. So this is the wave gear selector working. So you can see by rotating, the paddle shifter ratchets and it rotates that axle a quarter turn, and every quarter turn selects a new of any 4 gears. And when you combine 2 of them, then you can start getting all the gears that you have. So a cool new piece that Lego designers uniquely are able to do, create a new piece to help them build a transmission that will fit inside the scale of the car. And that's really most of it. You can see as we turn it around, I'm missing a piece. Lego gave me a shorter one instead of a long one. It is on order. Probably the most attractive side is going to be this back corner, oops, which popped off. So you can see this back quarter panel really is pretty nice because the seams are really nicely joined in the back. The front, maybe not so much. The seams aren't nicely joined in the front. Now, while building this, I did listen to the exclusive Lego podcast, which was sort of like a giant infomercial burnishing the quality past of Lego and the quality built into the company by Ole Kirk. It got a little old, always constantly going on, but there is quality there. The other thing, it also burnished the pedestal that Ettore Bugatti stands on with his artistic and his mechanical arrogance with all the stuff that he did. Quite an interesting fellow. And one of the interesting things from the designer that I got out of that was that when they sculpt the sheet metal of a car, they're not actually looking at the shape they're making. They're looking at the reflection that that sheet metal gives off when light is applied. And does that reflection have a nice curve? Which is why if you see on here, if you look at the reflections, there is not that nice curve. So if you look at a picture of the car, the lighting is just so to highlight those reflections to make sure they're nice curve. So are we expecting too much when we look at this engine cover, or the front, I guess the engine's not up there, but the hood, and how this comes in, and they use these flex axles, and it just doesn't quite work. But maybe we're expecting too much out of there, although it seems hard to believe there couldn't have been some more of these panels that could have rounded that thing off, when really the back section looks rather very nice. All right, so that's more or less. Do I like it? Sure, I like it. I think a lot of the effort is put into stuff you can't see, so you know inside that it's all there, but no one else can see that it's there. All they are seeing is the shell. And honestly, a shell with a less accurate motor may not sound as good, but holy smokes, would be a lot cheaper to make some cool shell for these size cars. Lastly, let's do a comparison against the most obvious set, and that, of course, is the Porsche 911 GTRS, which came out in 2016. You can see it there. You can see they are both 1:8 scales, so they're the same scale. And one thing that I learned off of the live build was that a lot of these cars are going to be similar scale because Lego does not want to print new engine block pieces. So if you're going to make the engine to scale with the rest of the car, and lots of cars use approximately the same size engine, individual cylinder pieces in their cars, they're approximately the same size, then all these cars that are made to scale will also be approximately the same size, because that's the defining Lego element that dictates the scale of a scale car. Could they print different size of those? Sure they could, but I guess they don't want to. So 8th scale, a lot of these are going to be coming out. And the other thing that they sort of mentioned was that there is another one of these coming. This is going to be a series that they're going to continue with, but of course they couldn't tell us. So we have a Porsche, we have a Bugatti. Of course, you know, maybe some people are hoping for a big Ferrari or some, you know, there are a million. One of the funny things, I looked up this car, you know, super, super, super expensive, but it's only like number 7 on the most expensive supercars of 2018, because supercar manufacturers are popping up like craft breweries. They're just everywhere. So the selection of supercars is enormous when you're willing to spend $3-4 million on a car. So there you go. Compared to the Porsche, you know, approximately the same size. This is a little bit taller, a little bit skinnier, a little bit shorter, a little bit wider. But what other cars? There's one other obvious comparison, and that, of course, is the other Bugatti Chiron that Lego makes. And there you go, is that little one. So, of course, this is the little Speed Champion version. Get sort of the highlights of what it is with stickers. Yes, I applied my stickers. This, I did not apply my stickers. This, I did not apply my stickers. A $300 Lego set should not have stickers, period. Right? $15 Lego set, I'm okay with stickers on a $15 Lego set. And honestly, I thought building this in an hour was almost a more authentic, fun Lego experience than building this over the course of an entire week, which was more sort of a test of endurance than anything else. Mainly because it fits one guy, and I know that it fits right on my Lego City Street. This was lots of fun. The Speed Champions are great. Speed Champions are great. So if this is not your size, get one of these. Or better yet, if you want to spend approximately the same amount of money or take up about the same amount of space, get 20. 20. There you go. So 20 Speed Champions takes up just as much space on your shelf as one Bugatti Chiron box. And honestly, in 5 years, if I'm looking to save for retirement, would I rather have one of these or would I rather have 20 of the Speed Champions? I would probably lean towards the 20 Speed Champions. So there you go. There's the, I think that is, the Speed Champions are just great. I love them. All right, let's move these guys off because I do have a more serious comparison, and that is, let's go back a little bit more. What other line makes supercars? Well, more recently, of course, it is the Creator line. So here's the $100 Creator Ferrari F40. Another supercar, brick built, as opposed to, it has Technic inside, but really more brick built. But you can see how much smaller it is. I was just shocked, actually. Look how tiny that is compared to these big supercars. Really, really small. You can still get this used for about $100 if this more fits your shelf size than the big one. What other cars have been done out of Technic? Well, here's the Grand Prix Racer. You can see that guy. And this is a recent one. Still, you can get the Grand Prix Racer for about 120 bucks used. And one of the things that's sort of nice about these is these supercars are supposed to be sculpted and smooth corners and those cool reflections. These Indy cars are more about built raw mechanical power and speed. And so maybe they fit that Technic design a little bit better with the exposed, you know, pieces in the suspension, exposed suspension and all that sort of stuff. So you can see not quite to the same scale, although the engine pieces are the same size. So a little bit, you know, about the same length, but the wheels are a little bit smaller. Anyway. But if what you're really going for when getting the set is not just the build, but also wowing someone, saying someone comes in, oh wow, look at that, right? I get this all the time when kids come in. Oh wow, look at that. Now I'll have this one. Oh wow, look at that. Except this one, if you pick it up in the wrong spot, is a lot more fragile than the Porsche. But think of maybe a little bit older. Again, not that expensive. So for 200 bucks used, why don't you wow someone with a Williams F1 Racer, all right? So look at this guy. Pretty cool. This one gets a lot of wows too. Only about 200 bucks. Why do I hate stickers on expensive sets? Because look at the condition of this set after 15 years, even though it hasn't been heavily played with, is the stickers have just worn and stickum has gone. And there's currently only 2 new sticker sheets available on Bricklink, both from Italy, I think, starting at 60 bucks. for a new set of stickers for this guy. But as you can see, the stickers are wearing off. Stickers are still clean on that one. This one doesn't have stickers. So unless it's vital, I just don't apply them. Honestly. So we'll put that guy in there. All right. So there's your Williams F1 racer. Pretty cool. That's a fun set that you can get relatively inexpensively. And maybe there are some knockoff stickers that I haven't actually looked to see. The closest that Lego has gotten, there's one other one that Lego has sort of tried to replicate this supercar build, and that is the Ferrari Enzo from 2005. I don't actually have one to show you, but I'll throw the picture up there. And you can see that it has the same edge issues. It's very wireframey. It's probably the closest. It's also really expensive, new in box, but still available for, well, it's still expensive, even used in the United States. In Europe, much, much cheaper than the ones available in the United States. And lastly, if you are just going for that wow factor and you want to get out of the car range, of course, the price point is going to be at the Taj Mahal that you can see there. That, of course, will be a bigger footprint, about 2 of these put together, but boy, does that have a wow factor. So cool. If you're going to be a collector and you collect cars, maybe you have no choice, you just have to buy it. If you're just into a cool build, it is a cool, interesting build. I would probably go towards one of the construction vehicles where you actually can see all the stuff and how it works. And if you're into investing, the jury is out on these things. Who knows what they're going to end up doing? Do I easily see them being $500, $600 sets down the road? Sure. How long that's going to take, I don't know. It's just really hard to say with none of them being retired. Speed Champions, Bugattis, yeah, that'll be good, except of course now they're available everywhere, so who knows what will happen with Speed Champions now that that has happened. All right, so cool. I always think it's funny. See, the mirrors are exactly the same size too. Another funny little tidbit. All right, anyway, thank you for watching today's show. Until next time, Lego on.